Okay guys, so I'm going to make a shelf to sheet tutorial on how to create a custom list that your chef can go through on their mobile device or their tablet, literally item by item through their inventory and figure out what they need. Pars can be added to that later. That'll be another tutorial for another day. But first we need to be able to create the shelf to sheet. So this is my customer's shelf to sheet. It goes through literally how they have their inventory set up. So they do their chicken on one shelf, they do their corn dogs at the bottom of the shelf, and then it goes to the other side. They have their bacon and the burritos and their appetizers, so on and so forth. And then we go into another section, which is their other refrigerator. So this is all their freezer, and then this is their refrigerator, or the start of their refrigerator. And then it goes down after we get out of the refrigerator. It goes to their dry goods. So these are all their dry goods. And so this is the shelf to sheet that I built for them. And I want to show you guys how to do this. So here is the process that we'll be going through. The list of things to make the shelf to sheet. So first you need a list. So whether that be you sitting down with your chef or going through your own walk-in or going through the walk-in with them and then just jotting everything down. Whatever it is, create your list. So you need that. The next thing we'll do is start a new order. We'll enter one quantity going down the list, or actually going up the list. So you're going to start from the bottom of your list. And then you add that to your custom list, and then you're finished. Now I'm going to throw a little caveat in here. We're actually going to add an item that is not in their list. So let's say we add basil. Okay, in this case, they don't use basil. So I'm going to add basil in this list. And it normally is not in their order guide. They haven't ordered it before, but we're going to add it into the list. And so this will help you in two ways. When you're putting in an order and you're already in your list and then you need something that you can't find in your list, how do you go into your catalog, search for something, and then come back into your list without losing that window that you're in? Very annoying. I'm sure everybody's sitting there going, oh yeah, how do you do that? Anyway, so once you get done with that, you're finished. And then if you stick around at the end of the video if you want, I'll show you some other bonus stuff on how to export the list and what the different meaning of the different lists are. So let's jump right into it. So we're going to start a new order. That's our first order of business. Haha, play on words. So we're going to go to Firefox. And here is my custom list, which we're going to be generating. But in this case, we're going to start a new order. So we'll start at home. So you just log into the customer's account or you log into your own account and you go to the customer's account. Either way, create a new order. Okay. In the create a new order part, you then start from the bottom of the list. So I'm going to go through this with you. So here we're going to start at the bottom. So we're going to do container. So first thing is, oh, I'm sorry. We don't do order guide. We go list and then we go to esysco list. I apologize. So start a new order. It took you to the order guide automatically. In this case, we want to click on list and then go into every item we've ever ordered, at least in the last year, and we start here. So I'm going to type in container. There it is. Put one on the list. And then we need detergent. So then I always leave my cursor over here. And the reason I leave it over here is that way I can double click and then just start typing the next word. Now if you type in backspace, it's going to clear out this window, and look, your I-beam is now over here. And so now you're typing in the next one, which was detergent. So D-E-T, nothing's coming up. Then you have to go over here and click over here again. So I always just leave my cursor right over here. So I'll show you as I'm going through this the benefits of it. So next one is sanitize. So I click on S-A-N. There's my sanitize. And then if I have multiple sanitize, I just use the arrows on my keyboard to get to where I need to go. Push enter. My I-beam is still over here. Click it again. Okay. Now we're doing cookies. And right down here. Enter. Again, I-beam, double click. Cookies. Next is salt. Boom. Next is cone. So you can see how fast you could do a huge shelf to sheet in a short period of time. Shortening, ketchup, topping, caramel. So we'll do caramel first, then it's pineapple, then it's strawberry. I've just done this enough times. I know that's how it is. And then we have buttermilk. Whoops, not buttermilk, buttermilk. Here we go. And then we go to the second page, or the first page, I should say. And we have cheese shredded. So we're going to do shredded cheese, and then we're going to do 120 cheese. And then we have ice cream. I'm actually going to add another ice cream because I've actually been meaning to add on this other ice cream, but just hadn't gotten around to it. So we have chocolate, then we have vanilla, and then we have okra. So now we're in the freezer. Okra and is it tornado? Did I miss that? Yeah, tornado. Tornado. And then we have bean burrito. Bean. And then pastrami. Oh, it's not adding in my one. Come on. I'm too fast, I guess. Pastrami, and then Philly. And then bacon. Okay. And then corn dog. And now here's where I run into I need basil. This is the part where I decided I'm going to put basil. So what you do is if you're on your Windows device, you push the Control key or CTRL key. You push the CTRL key, or you can right click, and if you do right click, you open a new tab. CTRL key is basically a shortcut from you clicking on open a new tab. Either way, open a new tab or CTRL key and then click this link up here. And this is what's going to happen. You're going to need a new window up here. This window, however, is going to stay in your list. This new window started back over at home. And now you can type in basil. Or as my good friend Gordon Ramsay, not really my good friend, but Gordon Ramsay says basil. We must search for basil. Now, within basil, or within the search results, you could always do a search within the result. So, just so you know, we're going to add these two. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, now, notice we got 24 items over here. Over here, 22 items. Oh, what happened to those items? Don't worry. Next on the list from corn dog is chicken breast strip. So we got strip. I'm going to add on the strip. And look, we got 22. Notice up here, 22. I'm going to add on the 1. And I'm going to go over here. And then look, it went to 25. So now it's added the 2 items that I added from the catalog and the item that I just added right there. So don't worry, it's logging it. Okay, now we're going to do grill, chicken breast, and then we need nugget, and then we need spicy, not spicy, what is it? Oh, spice. Oh, it's just typing chicken. I know which one it is. It's this one. Alright, we got spicy and then buffalo. So again, over here, buffalo, where are you? There you are. And then the breaded chicken. There it is. Oh, I put that one in backwards. Oops, I'll have to switch that. It is popcorn. Oh, here it is. Breaded and then tender. And we're good. So now we have everything on the list. Now let's go to view order. So now everything from the order that we put in is now in backwards. So now you have your list on your table. I'm using the one right here, but you have the list on the table. This is at the bottom, so the container is at the bottom, and now it's at the top. But here's the whole secret right here. This little button, I want you guys to see the arrow, hopefully. This button right here, add to list. And this is going to be the new inventory. So I'm just going to call it shelf to sheet. So shelf to sheet, create new list. Boom. So now you're done. Here's a critical piece. Don't forget to delete this order. If you don't delete this order, if you have, a 200 item order, it's going to be pretty expensive when you send him a bunch of stuff and then it's got to go back to the warehouse. Okay, so now here's your shelf to sheet. Again, the containers were at the bottom. Now I'm sorry, the containers were at the top and now look, they're at the bottom. So keep that in mind that when you're building these sheets, you want them to go from the bottom up. So now let's go jump over to our Word. Let's make sure we've gotten everything. We started an order. We entered one quantity going from the bottom up. We added the item from a catalog in a separate window. I showed you how to do that. We clicked on View Order. We clicked on the little gray button that added it to our new list, and now you're finished. Here you go. You now have your shelf to sheet all done inside your lists. Cool. So if you're done watching and that's all you wanted to learn, great. Now I'm going to explain how to export some lists. So now you're in your list and I want to export this list because I'm going to put this on, say, another account, a multiple account. So I click on my list. I click on More Tools over here. And in More Tools, I go to Export List. And don't ask, I've already gone through all of them. I don't know why it selects this one, but you want the last one. So just remember it's the last one. And we're going to not include pricing, we're good. And I'm just going to say AAAA because I want this to come up at the beginning. And I'm going to go export. Now this is going to download into my, I believe download folder is the default. So now I just export it. Oh, it's actually asking me where you want to save it. So I get to save it. Oh, see, it did go into my download folder. Anyway, so now you've gone to your download. You've now exported it. So now I'm going to jump into another location, okay? You never want to share your list. And the reason you don't want to share the list is because when you share a list, it'll show up, and I'm going to explain this list thing. It'll show up in your shared list function or your shared list options down here where you can't edit this. So like, I don't know who this person is, but they decided that they were going to add this list into my account and I can't edit it. I can't delete it. I can't add to it. And so this doesn't help me. I can't add to this list. So this is all there is here. And so instead, to be able to edit this list, I would have to go over here, export the list, and then go where I want to import the list and then import it, and then I can edit it. But I can't ever delete this. And sadly enough, the person who created this for me, they can't delete it either. So go figure. So this is how you're able to manage your own list. So let's go into another red onion over here. So we'll go to red onion number 2. And I'm going to copy over that other list into this list. So I don't have any lists in here. But I created the list. Oh, I did create a list. But I created the list on the other one. I have an inventory list. And let's just say this is an exact duplicate. We're going to do exactly the same way. So I click on this right here, import list. I then browse for the file, which is in my downloads. And it is right here. Open. And we're not going to call it AAA. We're going to call it test. Delete me. Okay, and then go import. So now it's imported all these items. They were all successful. I didn't have any errors. And now this list from another account, I can now edit. I can manage. I can delete items from it. I can add items to it. So here's my basil. I don't need basil in here anymore. So I'm going to go to edit list. And I'm going to click on my basil. And then if you ever need to like move stuff around, just click on uncategorized and then it'll allow you to move things around. The only thing is once you move, oh, it doesn't let you move it. Once you move things around, it has to refresh every time. So like, say I want to move this to 33. It then refreshes down over here to 33, actually 34, because 33 was a split on salt. So I put it after salt. but now it refreshed. So if you had a huge list and you had to come back over here and put this at, say, 33, it put it down at 33, but now you got to go down to the next item and look for the next item. And if you have 200 items, it's going to get really confusing, which is why I decided to do the other way and create an order. So here's the 2 items. I'm going to delete the items. I'm going to save my list. And now my list has been updated. And it's just that simple. So I go back into my lists. I click over here on test, delete me. And sure enough, my inventory does not have my basil in it. However, it does have my chicken down here in section 33, or 30, yeah, it was in 33, but now it's in 31 because I deleted the 2 basil items. But anyhow, that's how that works. In this case, I'm going to just delete this whole list because, you know, sometimes you mess up and you want to delete the list. In this case, I'm going to delete the list. So we're all good. And now you understand a couple of the extra. Oh, I didn't explain the list. So your My Lists here are created by the account user owner. So if that's you, which me, you know, I'm logged in, any lists I create are going to show up in My Lists. Now, if I were to log into Red Onion's account, which I can't log into Red Onion's because I don't know their password, but if I logged in with the customer and the customer was logged in, these lists for me would be in their shared lists. They cannot manage them, they cannot change them, they cannot delete them. So not really helpful. And then esysco list is just a running 12-month history of items ordered. So this is a great way to build lists or look for order or items that were ordered before, but it gets really cumbersome because it just adds them randomly throughout the year. So anyway, now for the customer, if the customer creates a My List, let's say I'm logged in as the customer, if they create a My List, you can't see their list. They manage their own list. They can have like a Monday list, Tuesday list, a special catering list, but you can't see their list. You would have to be logged in with them to actually help them and manage their list. So when you're creating a shelf to sheet, ideally, when they're starting out, shared list is perfect because they can't mess it up. But when they start adding new items and they start texting you like, hey, can you add this? Can you add that? Or hey, I couldn't find this. Add that to the list and then meet up with them and sit down with them and show them how to export this list, because from a shared list you can export the list. Export the list and then import it into their own list. So now they manage their own list because now they have a better understanding of how to use the system. So hopefully this helps you. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to answer any other questions that you guys have. And thanks for letting me talk your ear off for the last 6 hours.